I'm Lola.
And I'm Mamuna. Together, we have a combined 35 years of experience within the tech scene in North America and Europe.
We talk about the highs, the lows, the WTFs of navigating the technology industry and answer your questions about navigating tech careers.
This is Lost in Tech. How about that outage this week? Was that this week?
Outage?
Last week?
Oh, was it the Amazon one? Oh,
was
yeah.
This week or last week?
That was fun. Do you know, I'll tell you something that was shock horror in the Web3/blockchain world, but also was just like, duh. It's like this domain makes all these things about, we are decentralized. We do not believe in centralized overlords who control what can and can't be shown on the internet. Like a ridiculous number of Web3 services were down because Amazon was down. I was like, that is not decentralized. you are all dependent on Amazon.
Yeah, it's so interesting when you see, I went down this rabbit hole of thinking about how the data cables are laid throughout the ocean and how they're taken care of and all that. But there was an outage in Tonga. I forgot what year when this was, but there was an outage in Tonga. And I won't go into details of it, but as part of that, they had no access to the outside world. And there were people on Tonga who were already living like off the grid. But what they found was that during this time, their solar panels went offline because the solar panels apparently were updating every few days. And because they could no longer hit the internet to update, they bricked.
Dude, there is a similar story from this outage. So it was, I think the founder of a particular tech company found out that out that something was wrong because their smart bed, their Sleep 8.
Oh, the 8 sleep bed. I saw this whole thing, the 8 sleep bed.
So the CEO or the founder of Vercel. So Vercel is like this incredible production software. He found out that Amazon was down because his bed moved into the upright position and the temperature changed at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh,
and so then he was like, what the hell's going on? And 8 Sleep were having this outage, and so was Vercel experiencing this. And I was like, this is so crazy. What the hell is my bed doing relying on internet? I've already set the temperature and the position I want to sleep in. Why do you need to be connected whilst I am asleep? That was a shock to me. That it was doing that. But yeah,
I guess it's just staying steady connected in case, right? Like it's probably easier for them to program in that way.
There's kind of like, it's sort of, the way you manage memory and caching and data where like you don't need to do big uploads and downloads. You do like small packets here and there. I mean, I'm not a network engineer, but I do think it was interesting. I kind of agree with those who start to kind of naysay and be like, these are our new, like the expansion of things that the government needs to consider as secure infrastructure for like a society. It's not just the power grid and the water supply. It's the power grid and the water supply and the cloud services because, they're driving everything. Yeah, which is nuts. We have an announcement.
We're doing a newsletter. So we started Lost in Tech because there was so much noise in the industry. Everyone was talking about growth, funding, layoffs, leadership burnout, but we felt like it was all starting to sound the same. And we wanted a space where we also had ourselves who had a lot of like outreach from individuals who we felt we just couldn't scale to answer and spend the time with each person, right? So we wanted to create a space where we could have real conversations about what it actually feels like to build and lead inside of tech. No polish, as you can see, just like it's just the truth, right? And so over time, we realized that these conversations were hitting deeper, and we think it's great. We do get some outreach, which is really nice. We would love to see more.
Of course.
And, people still want to connect with us on questions behind the conversation and not just like the content. And so the podcast lets us capture the energy in real time, but it moves fast. And once the episode's over, it's on to the next. And we wanted to find a way to slow things down and stay with ideas that deserve a bit more space. And that's how Lost in Tech letters came to life. So the newsletter is not about repeating the podcast. It's a very much different space where we can write, reflect, and sometimes unpack things we didn't have time to say on air, because we do want to have those more digestible tidbits, as you all like shorter content. And so, we come both from product and leadership backgrounds. And one thing we've learned is that good work takes iteration. And so letters is part of that iteration. And it's a way for us to expand the conversation, I think, not louder, but deeper. And so, we are going to be introducing Lost in Tech letters later this week. And on to our regularly scheduled program.
Well, let's just give space to that for a minute, because I think, we've felt better about being able to share a little bit more of our perspectives and our experience on this podcast. But I'm really hopeful with letters, we just expand the audience of people who see a little bit of that content and ideally reply and check in with us and maybe share more of what they would like to hear. And we use it to kind of just grow the community a bit broader. And we will try and keep it fresh and interesting and put good ideas in there as well. But it will be a version of this podcast, essentially, that people can access in their inboxes.
Yes.
So subscribe, please.
Next.
On to today's topic.
Yes. On a not so lighter note.
On a not so lighter note. So we purposely, there was a point in this podcast where we would do like current affairs a little bit more. That was an iteration. And then we were like, you know what? There are other podcasts for that. We're going to come back to people, our experience, the things that affect people like us. And this is one of those topics. And this one makes me mad. This makes me mad. But also, this is that real talk that we have to give to us. Yes. And when I say us, I think for this topic, we are talking to Black women. And we are talking to other people of color, including Black men, East, South Asian, Indigenous peoples who may be experiencing similar things. But I'll be very specific. A lot of my stories and my anger is because I believe this is affecting Black women specifically. So let's stop with the foreshadowing. So anyway, there has been permission granted from the US president for a particular approach to tearing down the supposedly unfair and wrong tenets of DEI. Like we kind of got this DEI thing in quotes and everyone is like, no, we don't want to be known for doing it anymore. We don't want to see it. But what I am observing anecdotally is that it is making it seem like people who are in jobs that they have worked twice as hard as other people to get, they have put sweat, they put up with who the hell knows what shit, because we all have. There's been no floating glass cages that have just like brought us up to the top of any leadership stack, are being confronted with the idea that they are only where they are because of their color. And that makes me mad, Mamuna.
Well, let's talk about the wild reverse, right? Because just a few years ago, every company could not stop talking about DEI. It was like press releases, everyone was hiring chief diversity officers everywhere. And now I feel like those same conversations are almost radioactive, right? It's like what started in progress is now being very much politicized, weaponized, and like quietly rolled back.
100%.
And I think right now, like for purposes of our conversation, we're very much focused on like the professional setting of the world. And it feels, it's unfortunate, right? Like in very nice terms, it is very unfortunate to see the reverse pivot so quickly from where it was. And the stories you hear out of it are upsetting. And I think the thing, like, I agree with you fully about being upset. The thing I find very upsetting is that this is not new. Like, I think the feeling that we have when we enter the workplace, right? Like if you're on the lower end of the totem pole, you're excited to see the person of color, the person come into the workplace and, bring potential for others behind them, open that door behind them, right? And if you're higher up on the totem pole, that you have people looking up at you with expectation of what you can set in terms of culture for the company. Yeah. And you know that you worked hard to get to where you are, and this is your right.
Yeah.
But yes, please.
And
tell
can
some
I just
stories.
say, and this is anecdotes. I will say we don't have data for this conversation. There's no big article. This is our network is talking to us, and people we know are being affected by this. So, my personal experience is, I could probably fill many episodes with stories of incompetent individuals who are mostly from one racial group, because when you work in tech, you are mostly around one racial group and gender, who are shit at their jobs. And I have had to work with them. I cannot tell you one story of an incompetent Black woman that I have had to work with. Number one, because I've worked with too few. I've worked with too few. Number two, because whenever we meet each other in these spaces, we know what we've had to do to get here. And if anything, sometimes the safety message we tell each other is, you know what, you just got to chill a bit. You're trying too hard. It's too much, but it's too much on you, right? Because you are overdoing what mediocre Dan over here might be doing on a given day. And so I am frustrated. So one story I will tell is a friend of mine was talking about being in a job that she has been in since 2020. Excellent individual, excellent kind of technical lead, and having a new boss who decides to make a joke in a meeting, a public meeting. And the joke is like, oh, when did you start? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, 2020. And he's like, oh, so you must have been one of our DEI hires. Because what?
That one-liner carries so much coded meaning. And honestly, the implication that after all that you've done, think about especially Black women, like you've worked, you have probably taken all the courses, gone to school,
right,
hustled, bustled, done other things, and you're just filling a quota, not because you've earned it. Like you're just like, oh, we needed someone, so here you are.
But imagine how she felt in that moment. She came to work. I don't even know what day it was. It's a Tuesday. You came to work. You showed up. You're in the office. You have got your experience behind you. You are minding your business, and this absolute imbecile, frankly, immediately puts you in a position where you're like, am I laughing at this joke?
Right.
Am I pushing back at this joke? Do I become that
it's
Black
like hard
woman?
math that early.
And he
like,
just
why
joined?
are you doing that?
Why are you putting her in this position? And it offended me so much on her behalf. And I was like, this is the world we're in now.
So I would say that definitely it's not casual talk, it's systemic, right? And, I think when institutions roll back diversity programs, let's not even dive in yet as to the beneficiaries of diversity programs. The assumed beneficiaries of diversity programs are the target, and it sends a message that representation is optional again, right? And like
100%.
you can tolerate, and you could tolerate that type of talk. And it's the way that we think about representation across our teams and company to build culture meaningfully is not built into how we lead, into how these companies are thinking about leadership.
It's also, I think if most companies paid real attention, it belies the data. So if you want to look at like, have you measured output? Have you measured productivity? Do you actually know what this individual's team is doing? Do you, like you said, do you understand how much they contribute to the cultural fabric of your workplace? How much value they bring to their coworkers? Or even, there's another example slightly adjacent. In the UK, there's a politician whose name I don't even want to say, but she belongs to this party called Reform that's all the way over the right. Sarah Pochin, there you go. Absolute useless party as far as I'm concerned, and I'm happy and proud to say that. She goes on TV and she tells that she's upset when she sees these adverts that have Black people and Asian people in it because she does not believe that they reflect British society. And the problem with that is you're not talking about the majority of adverts that don't have those people. You're complaining about the few adverts that do have those people in them. Mm-hmm. And the results, the data from advertisers, The Guardian did this fantastic article where it broke down and said, Actually, the advertising data tells us that when advertisers increase diversity in their ads, they become more profitable. I.e., if you are a ruthless capitalist in the way that you want to be, because that's the purest way to run your country and you're on the far end of these things, you should care that diversity makes you money, but you don't. Why? Because you're actually just a full-blown racist. And that is what we are seeing is a word where like full-blown racism is permissible. And again, it is Black, the obviously non-white person in the room, the most obviously non-white person in the room gets it first. So it starts with the Black women. We start disappearing. We start being made to feel small and like we got in on DEI. Oh, it makes me mad, Mamuna.
We didn't earn the seat. There's so much in that. And I think okay, so maybe I think unfortunately, this is where we are. The realities of where we are. Let's lift the spirits a little bit, right? Let's lift the spirits a little bit. Like I think the great thing about us is that we will survive and we are going to thrive. Like we will find a way through it. It is going to be exhausting.
Yes.
Like just reality is like having they're like, okay, we want you to show up. I can't tell you how many times when I was coming up, they're like, oh, I want you to bring your whole self to work. We want you to talk more, show up more. And then let's say you do talk more, you do show up more. That is going to be more that you are critiqued on. But I do think that I'll even personalize this for myself. I think a lot of times I second guess what I bring to the table because I'm like, but like, who cares? Is it really going to matter? And the fact that when I come into a company, I get the messages from all of the Black folks who say like, hey, welcome. So excited you're here.
We're so happy you're here.
We're so happy you're here. This is so exciting,
Yeah.
The messages we get on LinkedIn, the emails, everything, right? It signals that despite what we may experience in certain conversations, there are an army of people behind us who want us to do well. And I think it's for people in leadership positions. And I hope that the people coming up in their roles see that despite what you may experience, we can make it there. And the more of us that keep trying, the more of us that keep pushing, like we will get there. It's just not as easy as we would hope.
No. And I think, to maybe use like a dating trope to a certain extent, it's also recognizing that like, it's not us, it's them, right? It's open season on certain types of racism. And we see it in politics, we see it in media, we are seeing it at work. And it's always been there. And like to a certain extent, sometimes like subtle racism is more insidious because they won't say it out loud. They are saying it out loud. So you know where you stand and you know that you have been put in a position. And I think if you are in a leadership role or striving for a leadership role, like you said, it's not about not wanting it or not pushing for it or believing that you won't get it just because. No, you do your thing. You do your highly competent, experienced thing. You shoot your shot. But you might need to take away that it's not you. If it doesn't work, it's them.
Yeah.
And you probably don't want to work around open racists. You don't, like in the case of my friend, that was like the timer is on and she is wheels up and out because it probably won't be the last incident that she's put in front of. And unfortunately for that new boss, she's highly, highly competent. So
I mean,
she's going to take her skills somewhere else.
I think that yes. I was thinking in my mind, like, we want to confront bias in real time because I think it's important that people know, like, hey, I'm not standing for that, nor is that okay to say out loud. But I also understand that carries differently for different people depending on the situation they're in. So that's not like advice that I would sling out there willy-nilly. But I do think that if you're in a leadership role and you have people looking up to you, I hate to say the obligation, because I remember during the year of reckoning in 2020, everyone was like, Mamuna, like, what's your message going to be to the team about this? And I'm just like, just like slow down. Like, you can't just like push someone into something. Like, you know, you have to find your own voice in it. You have to like figure out like what your path is going to be. But I do think that there's an opportunity there to try and say and do something. But I do think that there is an opportunity for you to reclaim the narrative, right? And like have receipts. And so
100%.
I don't think you have to shrink behind the like DEI label, DEI Hire label. I think that like everyone here that we work with, everyone that's gotten these visions, like you're competent. And if someone implies that you are a DEI hire, read them your rights. Like tell them why you have a right to be there, because that is not okay. Do not let someone belittle your position or the space you are taking because they are threatened by you.
Well, and also I will leave everyone with, it is also not a time to shrink.
Yes.
And I need to correct something that I said on a previous episode, because I mentioned spoiler for morning show. And I talked about this particular character, Mia, not getting a job and me thinking that, you know what, I can understand why they didn't give her the job. Well, I watched more episodes, Mamuna. And let me tell you this. It actually connects to this in that what happened in the story arc is that Mia realized that she had spent far too long shrinking to fit. And it took a Black woman to tell her that. Another Black woman said to her, sounds like you're not being yourself. And I think if you can be, if at any point in your journey, you have had to shrink to not offend them so that they didn't quite notice that you were different and you could just be looked at for the professional contributions and they didn't care about the packaging, you're probably doing yourself a disservice, and they still don't care because they may very well still come in your face and say you're a DEI hire anyway. So you might as well be yourself.
Be yourself.
You might as well own your narrative. You might as well stake your opinions and your claim. I don't even have to give you notes on that because I know you're going to be professional. That's never the question. The question is whether you feel like you're deferential because you feel like you don't want to overly stand out as the aggressive or the super this Black woman or whatever. My dear, forget about it. Do you?
Yeah,
honestly, because what else have we got left? If you're going to be facing open racism, do you back, you know, like make yourself feel good, give yourself closure that you either walked or talked or you did right by you. And so be it. Because if they're saying stuff like that, and when it comes to like keeping your job,
who knows what they're saying?
If they're saying stuff like that at work, who knows what they're saying at home? But honestly, you being quiet about it or deferential does not guarantee you're going to keep your job.
And it lets them know that you're okay with them saying that to you.
And that you're okay with it. So that's the environment that we're in. It's like, you know, be yourself, arm yourself, own yourself, because these folks are not looking after you. And your loyalty, we talk about that a lot. Your loyalty is yourself, not necessarily to the employer. And I wish you all luck. I wish all of us luck. I wish none of us have to deal with this open racism against Black women leaders in workplaces and this cursed label that now seems to be like the world's worst attack. But if you're going to be put in that position, know that we've got your back.
Yep.
So
we welcome stories, anecdotes, a shared space of peace together. If you want to share, like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe. I can't remember.
Like, share, and subscribe. One day.
Yes.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Thank you, people.
Bye, y'all.
We've made this show for you, and we want to hear your stories. We have our combined 35 years experience in tech. We have an incredible bank of experts to call on. We are your safe space. So send us your tech challenges, and we'll help you create some draft decisions through some real talk.
You've been listening to me, Mamuna Oladipo.
And me, Oyelayo-Pearson.
Edited and produced by me, Michael Blissa, with theme music by 031 Mash.
Email us at help@lostintechpodcast.com or DM us at lostintechpod.